Scott Credisci. Oh, my name is Scott Credisci. I'm the Director of Football Operations at Brown, and I'm also the radio broadcaster for the football team. We're broadcasting their games for many years now. John Spooney, unfortunately, couldn't be with us today, but he did videotape a little acceptance speech, if you'd like to see it. Hopefully you can all hear it. It's a little, the volume's a little bit low on it. Here we go. We'll play it for you.
Sorry that I could not be with you today to accept this award, but I would like to thank you for this great honor. Thank you to the New England football writers like me and just fellow members of the board, and thank you to the creator of the greater Boston. I'd also like to thank my teammates and staff that would not be possible. Thank you.
John is sorry he couldn't be with us today. He has a test right now as we speak. You know, as a football player, John's stats kind of speak for themselves. He's rushed for 693 yards in 6 games, really in 6 halves. He hasn't played a complete football game yet this year, and that's mostly because Coach Estes is just trying to manage him. I mean, he's a guy that was recruited to Brown to play track, played football for us a few years ago. Last year, he decided to dedicate his time solely to playing track, and he realized how much he missed football, so Coach Estes was happy to welcome him back this year, and he's really been phenomenal. But when you look at those numbers and the amount of snaps he's taken, when you extrapolate it over, for instance, the Ivy League leader is Dominic Deere from Dartmouth, who has 161 attempts, and John's right behind him. If you were to extrapolate his 10 yards per carry, he'd have over 1,600 yards rushing. I mean, he's really just a special athlete. But even more than that, I've gotten the chance to know John very well this year, and what a special young man he is. He's a great student, biology major at Brown, wants to be a doctor, but even more so, he may be one of the nicest, most humble young men I've ever met. And I'll tell you a quick story. My 9-year-old son, Jack, his favorite player on the team is John Spooney. So he went trick-or-treating for Halloween dressed up as John Spooney. He had the brown helmet, the 19 shirt, the brown football pants, the whole ordeal. You know, normally I'm not a parent that wants his children to idolize athletes, but in this particular case I couldn't be more proud that my son chose John Spooney as his idol, because he represents everything that's right. So on behalf of John, I accept this award, and thank you very much.
Anything about Yale?
Yes, we're looking forward to going to the Yale Bowl. We've fortunately had some success there in recent years. We're coming off of a good win over Penn. We shut out the 2-time defending league champions, and at the time they were co-leaders in the league, 27-0 last week, and some Massachusetts guys I think figured prominently in that win. Our quarterback, Patrick Donnelly, is from Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and he's among the nation's leaders in completion percentage. Our middle linebacker, Dan Giovacchini, is also leads our team in tackles. He's a local guy. Michael Yules is from South Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Went to Moses Brown in Providence, right across the street from Brown University, and he's among the league leaders in sacks this year. And you know, we're on a little bit of a roll here. We've won a couple of straight in league, and we're happy about that. And we're hoping to keep the ball rolling against the Bulldogs on Saturday.
As I said last week, we thought Dartmouth was a very good football team. They took a field goal with 48 seconds left in the game to beat them. Very tough on both sides of the ball, skilled, and just a very challenging game. I thought the defense really did a great job overall. We held a very strong running team to just 100 and change. Held them to 14 points, only 14 points against the first team defense. One was off a turnover offensively. Up front, I thought we did a great job against some Massachusetts kids. The Obukwelu brothers, Namdi and Obum, both Brockton and BC High kids, played extremely well. And Ryan Delisle, a junior from St. John's Prep in Lynn, Massachusetts, also had a sack. Offensively, our offensive line, as you know, has been in a state of flux because we've had 3 starters out for the season. And I thought the young kids really came together in the second half, got their shape to start, and did a great job. We rushed for 246 yards against Brown. Paul Stanton, a sophomore running back from Kenner, Louisiana, had 146 yards. And our quarterback, Connor Hempel, from Union, Kentucky, had 77 himself. So I thought that was the difference in the game. Ricky Zorn also played extremely well. Ricky's done a great job at wideout. He had 4 catches for 40 yards and also threw a 32-yard touchdown pass that was as good as anybody in the country could have thrown the thing. He just put an absolute seed right at the corner of the end zone where it had to be for a big play. Coming into the Columbia game, they're a team that admittedly has been struggling. That means nothing to us. Anybody in this league, if you're not prepared, if you don't play extremely well, and if you don't make mistakes, has a chance to beat you. So obviously we have to go down there and take care of business. I want to congratulate John Spooney, who, like you folks have said, is just an amazing player. Might be the fastest running back in the nation at any level. And when he gets the ball, you just kind of hold your breath and make sure you're taking good angles, because if you don't, you're going to see nothing but his backside. So congratulations to Brown and John Spooney, and also to Mac Foot and Millbury, and good luck to everybody this week.
My name is Anthony Marcello, assistant football coach in Millbury. I'd like to first thank you on Mac's behalf. Unfortunately, couldn't make it here today. He too has a test today, and he's busy getting ready for Tufts this week. He is very grateful from the Gridiron Club in Boston that you guys recognized his great play last Saturday against Hamilton, and it really was unbelievable play. He completed 25 for 29 passes, 332 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And that was really through 2.5 quarters. So that doesn't really show in the stats, but he really had a great game. He's been doing it all year, and with that game, his national ranking is now second for completions with 32.7, and he's actually ranked third in the country with 337 passing yards per game. So he's really had an outstanding year, and anytime the quarterback has that kind of year, you have to look at his offensive line and really thank them for what they've done. 3 seniors, Jack Allard, Ben Green, and Luke Battle, really been the backbone of our offensive line. With a couple juniors, Blake Straczynski and Dan Finta stepping up, adding a real nice athletic element to our offensive line. Combined, allowing only 7 sacks and 382 attempts. So really keeping Mac safe and allowing him to do what he does best on the field. So there's really nothing more we can ask for with those guys, and Mac is extremely grateful for having that crew in front of him protect him. Going into this week, we faced a really well-coached opponent in the Tufts, coming down here on Saturday. We know Frank Hauser and Jason Betty do a great job with that offense. And defensively, they create a lot of turnovers, and they have a really strong red zone defense that we need to be prepared for. We're going to spend all week getting ready for that and trying to come out Saturday on top. So from the Gridiron Club, thank you very much on Mac's behalf, and we look forward to Saturday. Thank you.
Kudos to Coach for making the 3.5-hour drive to join us here. I want to talk about our seniors. Last game of the season against Middlebury. Talk about leadership by example and perseverance. I mean, these guys showed up in September 2010 under Sammy. They won their first game against Hamilton of that season in 2010. They haven't won since. But they still come out, they stuck it out, they bring a positive attitude every day, they work hard. Most of these guys aren't even really playing in terms of getting time on the field. Cord Deal, Connor Glazier, Sean Harrington, Nick Kenyon, Nate Marchand, Ryan Pollock, Nash Simpson, John Sobo, Trevor Barsamian, Matt Johnson, and John Dane. They were part of a 21-member freshman class back in 2010. 10 quit, those 11 remain. I think what they've done is really almost more impressive than if we had won 30 straight games. I mean, leadership when you're winning is easy. Leadership when you're losing makes you a man. And that's what these guys have done. So we'll see what happens. When this thing finally ends, whether it's against Middlebury this week or next season, these are the guys who've stuck it out and who really deserve the credit. Thanks.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah. Well, we had the Kelly Cup. We lived through that barely. We finally have become healthy, and Mass Maritime was a little undermanned. We didn't realize it, but Bennett, their great receiver, didn't play on Saturday, and we got our quarterback back. We had all the receivers, and we were finally healthy on the offensive side, and everything kind of clicked. We set a school record with 658 yards, and we talk about being balanced. It was 327 on the ground and 331 in the air. Our outstanding running back, Malik Van Alstyne, had 228 yards rushing, I think, and that was pretty much and it sounds like everybody played a half this week. But it was our offense just clicked. Every time we had the ball in the first half, we scored. And as I said, everything the stars were aligned and everything was right for us. And we played an undermanned Mass Maritime team, and it was 51-12 at halftime, and then we got our young guys in and got that done. I think the bigger battles are when I got back to my house, and my son, who obviously coaches for Mass Maritime, and I was talking about my grandkids. I came in, there was a pot holder on fire, there was a broken lamp, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of action when I got home. And then today I'm driving down the Mass Pike, and Craig Larson tries to run me off the road. So I had a tough week. But so now we go down to Bridgewater. We're on the road for our last 2 games, and we're going down. We got 2 senior days coming up, and Bridgewater is a very, very good team. Offensively, they're led by McCarthy, the quarterback, who not only can throw the ball, but he's a great runner. So it's a double threat for us. It's going to really press our defense. And just to get back to the Mass Maritime, our defense has come up big all year long. That is the thing that's kind of sustained us over the season. Our defense every week, and it's led by our senior middle linebacker, Pat McGrath. And we're going to need to come up with a big effort this week against Bridgewater. And they are kind of backed into a corner. There's 2 games behind us with 2 to go. It's a must-win situation for them. And it's always a big game for us. It's always a big rivalry game because they're the biggest school in their conference, and there's some great athletes. They have a receiver by the name of Green out of Stoughton, and he's just been prolific this year. So we got our hands full, and we got our work cut out for us. And good luck to everybody. Congratulations to John and Malcolm.
This past weekend, we had our senior day game versus Pace University, a team that's obviously struggling this year in our conference, and obviously honoring seniors that have kind of built the program to where it is today. We had a 42-14 victory over Pace, and with a little help in the league that day, we found out later on that we actually clinched a spot in the Northeast 10 championship game next week versus American International. So obviously a big day for the program. Defensively, we were led by our senior captain, Tim Bennett from Fillmore, California, had an interception early in the second half. And offensively, sophomore running back Colin Marcus from Monroe, Connecticut, had his 3rd straight 100-yard game this season. He's rushed for a little over 500 yards in the last 3 games combined. So he's obviously carrying the load for us on offense. And junior wide receiver Nate Robitaille from Attleboro, Mass. With this game, he was our program's first 1,000-yard receiver in a season, set a record there. He is also the leader for receptions in the season, with just over 70 now, kind of added to that total. And he's a couple touchdowns away from our season record for that. He's got 10 on the season. So he's done a great job all year. He's a big play threat for us. This week, our last regular season game, before the championship game, we played Merrimack College up at their place. It'll be senior day for them. And they're an explosive team. Offensively, they're led by a quarterback who pretty much leads Division II in every passing statistic that there is. He averages 400 yards passing a game on the dot, and their offense is averaging over 40 points a game. So obviously it's going to be a big test for us defensively, and for us to have a shot at NCAAs, we have to go through Merrimack first. So it's a big game for the program. Obviously not trying to look too far ahead to our conference championship game, but it's going to be a big 2 weeks for us, and we have to kind of take it one game at a time. So we're excited, obviously, to have what we have in front of us, and we just got to keep it rolling. So good luck to everybody this weekend. Congrats to the Golden Helmet winners. And
thanks, Jack. We had a big senior day win against Southern Connecticut this past weekend. We had 2 freshmen this year that have been tremendous for us through injury. Our strong safety, Sam McDonald from Norfolk, Mass. He from King Philip High School. He had 2 interceptions, 1 to seal the game, 1 to seal the win. And also our punter, Tyler Ford from Souhegan High School up in New Hampshire, who's averaging 43 yards per punt this year. So 2 freshmen that have been great for us throughout the entire season. Offensively, for Southern Connecticut, once again, Danny Guadagnoli. Once again, probably you guys are tired of hearing of, but he's one of the greatest guys through our program. He's 151 yards shy of the 3,000 mark for his career. I'm sorry, for the season, and close to 5,000 yards for his entire career, which is obviously pretty impressive for 2 years starter. Jeff Hill from Mansfield. Also, he's only the 4th player in program history to be close to the 2,000 yard mark for receiving. Both of them obviously is a pretty good tandem for success. Defensively, Nick McCarthy from Winthrop had 12 total tackles, a career high for him, led by, and also his partner Sammy McDonald with 5 tackles. We're heading down to New Haven this next weekend. Obviously a very good opponent. Their defensive line is leading the league in sacks versus our offensive line, who's obviously struggled a little bit this year. Offensively, they're putting up some pretty impressive numbers, but it's always a great match. It's their senior day. New Haven's always played us tough. We've always played them tough. Last year we lost by 4 points. This year we got to go down there and we got nothing to lose, so we're going to come after them. I just want to congratulate our kicker, Mike Barron from Knoxbury Latin, who's a Fred Mitchell Award winner and for his achievements on and off the field, and also our head coach, who is receiving on Monday night the Murray Lewis Award for intercollegiate officials. Thank you very much. Best of luck to everybody here, and congratulations.
Congratulations to the Gold Helmet Award winners. We're like Groundhog Day at Curry. If you said to me my quarterback would throw for 390 yards and 3 touchdowns, and we'd rack up close to 500 yards of offense, I'd say we win the game, but we did not. Western New England racked up 560 yards of offense, and we could not stop them, and we didn't take advantage of a couple of chances that we had where they made some turnovers, and we didn't get any points. We missed a few field goals, and didn't do it in the red zone a couple of times. We ended up losing. It's just a very frustrating year. We are being outscored, and the way offenses run today, if you give them chances, they're going to take advantage of it. And we did not, and we ended up getting beat. Our quarterback, Kevin Fruworth, threw for 390 yards, and our 2 senior receivers, Brent Kane and Tyrone Harrington, had excellent days, but we just didn't score enough points to beat them, and they scored more than we did. We're playing Nichols at home. It's our last home game. We've got a lot of guys that are hurt, a lot of seniors. Hopefully we can turn around the next 2 weeks, and then it's up to Maine Maritime up in beautiful Castine, Maine. Nichols has struggled this year, and we're struggling offensively and defensively. Hopefully we can turn it around.
You know, for all the talk about what we've done offensively in 64-63 and what Octavius McCoy has done at Western Connecticut, the fact of the matter is the road to the Mascot Championship still goes through Framingham. And Coach Kelly, for all the talk about all the numbers and everything else, Coach Kelly is going to win his 2nd straight conference championship this year. So when you're playing a Framingham State team, you better come ready to play, and we were not ready to play. We got beaten all 3 phases. Their offensive line gave their quarterback, Manny Silva, all the time in the world, and he took advantage of it. So you can insert whatever your verb you want, but the fact of the matter is Framingham State is the best program in our conference. Tom Kelly's the best coach in our conference, and they deserve to win the game. And you never did clarify whether Michael or your grandsons lit the house on fire. That was a matter of public record. I don't think it was Michael. But we moved past it. There's nothing you can do. You can't go back and replay the game. And we've got this week is Plymouth State. We have 2 home games remaining. Plymouth State is a team we haven't played in 22 years. They're a newcomer coming over with the new conference. They're coming off of a great high. They had their first conference win last week over Worcester State. Coach Cameron and Coach Castoni are great friends. So this will be the first time they've coached against each other since they've been in their respective jobs. A couple of highlights for us last week. Stephen Gustafson did return. He had almost 100 yards. He had 98 and a touchdown. Mike Stanton threw his 46 career touchdown pass, which extends his school record. And Keith Caruso, who's our senior wideout from Hingham, broke the school receiving yards record for his career. He has 1,740 now going into his final game, our final 2 games. So we have Plymouth State this week, And then it's the Cranberry Bowl next week against Bridgewater State. I hope Coach Kelly exerts the same amount of pressure on Saturday at Bridgewater as he did last Saturday. But we have all the opportunity in the world. We have an opportunity to, our senior class to post their 4th straight winning season. And it's all in front of us at a place that we've been 10-3 the last 13 games at Clean Harbors. So hopefully a little combat on the canal will turn up a little success for us. So congratulations to the helmet winners and good luck to everybody.